One of the biggest challenges English learners faces is actually our spoken English. We have sunk so many hours and efforts into this thing, but the result is not very satisfying. But things have changed. We are now living in the era of AI. We can actually leverage these large language models such as ChatGPT or Gemini or Doubao to practice our spoken English. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how I use these large language models, or LLMs, to practice my spoken English. I'm also going to talk about benefits and drawbacks of this kind of practice. First, let me demonstrate how I use this kind of large language models to practice my spoken English. So if you open any large language models, you would go into this voice mode. Hello, my sparring partner. Could you please toss me an IELTS Part 1 speaking question?
Do you prefer to study alone or with other people, and why?
Yes, I prefer study alone because I consider myself an introverted person. By spending time alone, I can learn at my own pace and rhythm. That way, I get to figure out problems on my own without depending on others. So it's kind of a practice or mental practice I have with myself daily. That is the way how I practice my spoken English. And after that, I'm gonna have to do some, maintenance work because it happens so fast. You basically didn't learn anything from it. So what I do is actually I ask my sparring partner, please give me a demo of the above question. So what I do next is I ask it to read this question.
Do you prefer to study alone or with other people, and why? Candidate, I generally prefer to study alone. I'm quite an introverted person, and studying by myself allows me to work at my own pace and follow my own rhythm. When I study alone, I can think through problems independently instead of relying on others, which I find mentally rewarding. It also helps me concentrate better, so overall, I find solo study more effective for me.
So we have this audio clip which shows examiner's question and candidate's answers. So I can, what I should do next is shadowing. I copy or mimic the exact intonation, rhythm, slow, and pace. So let me show you how it's done.
Do you prefer to study alone or with other
with other
people,
people,
and
and
why?
why?
Candidate,
Candidate,
I generally prefer to
prefer
study
to
alone.
study
I'm
alone.
quite an
I'm quite an
introverted person,
introverted
and
person,
studying by
and studying by
myself allows me to
allows
work
me
at my
to
own
work at my
pace and
own
follow my
pace
own rhythm.
and follow my
When
own
I study
rhythm.
alone,
When I study
I can
alone,
think
I
through
can
problems
think through problems
independently instead of relying on
independently instead
others,
of relying on
which I
others,
find mentally
which I find
rewarding.
mentally rewarded.
It also
It
helps me
also helps me
concentrate better,
concentrate
so
better.
overall,
So
I find
overall,
solo
I find
study
solo
more
study
effective
more
for me.
effective. Next, I want to talk about the benefits of this kind of practice. First, obviously, it is very convenient. You got to practice your spoken English whenever and wherever you have free time. You're not bound by time and location. Yes. And the second point I want to mention is using these large language models, you get instant feedbacks. You instantly know whether you did well or not. Just like playing video games. The reason why we found video games engaging actually is because they provide instant feedbacks, right? I think that's the key to anything if you want to improve. Another thing I want to talk about is in the past, if you want to practice your spoken English, you have to use some kind of source material, an audio clip, a video clip, or reading passages to serve as a starting point. But now you don't have to do that anymore. You get to talk about stuff that is most related to you. Talk about your personal life, things you like, things you do not like. And the last thing I want to talk about actually is drawbacks. Because this kind of conversations with large language models happen so fast and so spontaneously, barely have time to extract the maximum benefits from these conversations. So you gotta have some kind of system in place. Otherwise, you will not get much value from these conversations. Probably the most important factor actually is price. Subscribing to these large language models actually is not cheap. For example, if I subscribe to ChatGPT, I have to pay monthly 20 US dollars. If you put that into our currency, it will be a little more than 100 yuan subscribing to multiple large language models can set you back a lot of money. Although this kind of practice is not perfect, I'm still willing to pay for this kind of service because it would give my English a massive boost, which is something I really want to see.